Hello, and thank you. I heard this week that Captain Sully Sullenberger returned to flying again. And ever since the miracle on the Hudson.
The creation on the Hudson?
Yeah, I've been wondering just how many people had to be in alignment for that to happen. Was it just him? And it happened so fast
what
that
part
no
are you
one
talking
else...
about? Are you talking about the creation where he rendezvoused perfectly with a flock of geese and performed the perfect thing that he always planned to do if that would happen?
All of it, yes.
Many say, oh, were we ever lucky to be on an airplane with a man who was trained to do that? And we would say...
Yeah, was it a
plane? You really call that luck, that you rendezvoused with someone that had put that in his vortex? Or would you rather rendezvous with a pilot who had never had a thought about an emergency landing and therefore was never in the process of attracting one?
Yeah, was his expectation enough to do it?
Little mind twisting, isn't it? Well, what do you think? In other words, do you think that stuff just happens, and when it happens, if you're really good, then you can get yourself out of it? Or do you think you create your own reality? Which is it? You can't have it both ways. In other words, and yet you flip back and forth. This audience just flipped back and forth. In other words, Jerry and Esther were laughing about this because they were talking about having a plan B. And when you have a plan B, does that mean you don't really expect plan A to work? And if you don't really expect plan A to work, then are you resistant to plan A and therefore you need plan B? And if you're resistant to plan A, you're probably a little resistant to plan B, so now you've got plan C. And pretty soon you're not in a place of alignment with what you really want at all, you see. That's the point that we're making. What point were you wanting to make?
Well, I just was wondering, what did it take to arrange that? Was it just his expectation of being in the vortex, or was it a plane of people coming back from one of these seminars that was enough to make that kind of a miracle happen?
Well, here's the thing. Let us just ask you, because we really want to get to the heart of this. Was the miracle having a safe landing after a disaster in the sky, or was the miracle the disaster in the sky? In other words, what part of it do you want to call deliberate creating? His ability to bring that big airplane down safely after something that you don't want to call creation happened? Or do you want to call it all creation? In other words, flocks of birds are flying. They're intuitive. Do you understand that nothing happens except for the vibrational alignment and point of attraction? Because law of attraction says when you focus upon something and activate it in your vibration, it becomes a part of your point of attraction. Now, we acknowledge that this airline pilot who wants to deliver people safely, and we understand all the safety regulations and all of the practicing, but this man was more intensely involved in this sort of rescue than any pilot that you'll ever meet. He was teaching it. It was really, 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 really active in his vibration. And many would say, well, wasn't it fortunate that the man who had that most activated in his vibration was the man who had the experience so that he could get them out of it safely? And we say, but you forget, he was the man who had it most activated in his vibration. In other words, the geese, or whoever they were cooperative components to the most active vibration that he had going on. When Esther first began receiving us, she had this sort of distorted view of what interacting with infinite intelligence would be about. And in the very early days, she actually thought that it was about life just going bad for most people, but some of us are lucky enough that we get to tap in to infinite intelligence to help us out of trouble. So she actually thought that we would help her to rescue people from close calls. It took her quite a while before she began to realize that we were in a vibration not where the close calls are. We're not training you to look for trouble and solve it. We're training you to be a vibrational match to the well-being that you are seeking. And there is a big vibrational difference in that, you see. So we think it is nice that those people were fortunate enough to be on an airplane with a man who knew what he was doing. We also think it is interesting that they were a vibrational match to someone who had that point of attraction going on. So now you say, well, now I don't know what to do. Do I want a pilot that's trained for trouble? And we say, you really don't. You really don't. You want a pilot who never expects any trouble. But it's not easy to be in this world and not expect some sort of trouble. And so it's a constant refining of what you are wanting. It's a constant refocusing. This is such an interesting thing where your world, for the most part, takes disasters and problems and builds monuments to them, and generation after generation points you toward the troubles that you've lived. And that is predominantly the reason that the majority of people are resistant to the well-being. It's really a funny thing. The people who are living are putting all kinds of wonderful things in this vortex of creation. And new ones, the new babies that are being born from this vibration of well-being. But as soon as they get here, they're trained by those that are sure that there are problems to be had, you see. So we're just trying to help you to find some balance. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would continue to say things always work out for me. And plenty of the people on that airplane said, well, it really did work out well for me because there was someone who really knew what he was doing. And we say there is something off in the vibration of anyone who has to land in the Hudson. You like the drama of it, don't you? In other words, if you all didn't like the drama of it, you would focus more upon what you want. There would be many more people talking about what they want and far fewer people talking about what they don't want, you see. And in the long run, it all works out anyway. Nothing is going terribly wrong. We're just saying you get to choose. Every one of you get to choose how resistant you are to your well-being and how much drama you want in the closing of the gap. In other words, someone who wants and allows and wants and allows and wants and allows and wants and allows has a very nicely unfolding, deliberate life. Someone who wants and doesn't allow, so wants and doesn't allow and wants and doesn't allow and then allows, has a more exciting ride, you see. Mm-hmm. Have we convinced you, or have we got you in the vicinity of at least wanting to understand that the manifestation really doesn't mean diddly squat? Can you let go of what is right now? Can you accept that what is the magnificent bouncing off place, but where it's at, because the larger part of you has already gone there, is to a vibration that hasn't manifested yet. And if you can just hear us and believe that and look in the direction of the vibration that has not yet manifested, that stream will carry you. It will fill you with well-being. It will fill you with a feeling of adventure and enlivenment, and the manifestations will come barreling into your experience too. In other words, if you could just let go of what is, because it is only attention to what is. In other words, you can't tune to the frequency of the vibrational reality and the frequency of the reality at the same time. They are different frequencies. And there are people who would rightly say, but Abraham, there are things in my current reality that are vibrationally up to speed to the things that are in my vibrational reality. In other words, there's a lot of good stuff in my life. Couldn't I focus on it and still be a match to what's going on here? And we say, yes, of course you can. You could be such a good selective sifter that you just look at the best parts of reality and therefore tune yourself to the best parts of your vibrational reality. But it's the hard way to go about it, because in that sifting and sorting, you've got the pros and the cons, the pluses and the minuses, and it bogs your vibration down. If you could just be forward looking, if you could talk about where you're going and who you really are, if you could talk about how you want to feel, if you could talk about the big picture, if you could talk about your eternal nature, if you could talk about how things always work out for you, if you could talk about how the universal forces are already have already gathered the cooperative components. Look at the big picture and look toward the big picture and think about the big picture and speak about the big picture, and never look back to the reason that you ask for the big picture, because the reason that you ask for the big picture is a different vibration than the big picture. Does that make sense to you? We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It's interesting because now we've spent some time in the vortex, and you've witnessed several people in perfect alignment with that which is their vortex. Do you feel a diffusion of anything that has been troubling in your experience? Does it feel to you as if the problems that are responsible for the creation of this vortex have now served their purpose, and now you're ready to give your undivided attention to what's in the vortex. Do you think that we could just stay in the vibrational patterning that you have all achieved? Do you think that we could stay here and sustain life experience just by talking about life from inside the vortex? Then you'd be wrong. It's a trick question. What we want you to reach for is, can you feel a sense of poignancy that comes from both sides of the equation? In other words, can't you feel that after a while, this vortex, good as it is, and as much as you feel it, needs a little beefing up? And aren't you sort of willing to maybe leave the vortex long enough to find another question to which you seek an answer, to find another problem to which you seek a solution, because it is in that movement into the vortex that your real life becomes. In other words, some might say, oh, Abraham's going to open up a discussion where people can talk about being in the vortex, and the line's going to be out the door and around the block. It will never come to an end. But it did. Did you see it peter out? In other words, this is the power of what contrast does. Contrast keeps putting the stuff back into your vortex. And it is our promise to you, friends, you get your greatest lift from life moving into the vortex, not getting in and staying there. So what you want to do is stay in there long enough to understand the vibration of it. Stay in there long enough to feel the power and the clarity of it. And then from your place of knowing how easy it is to get in there anytime you want, to dive headlong into the contrasts that surround you for the purpose of ferreting out the expansion that you were born to discover. Are you getting what we're talking about? Because if it is not for the contrast that gives birth to the expansion, there could not be the movement into it, and it is the movement into it that really is the sweetness of life that so many of you are wanting to find. It all fits together so magnificently. You knew when you made the decision to come forth into this physical body that the diversity that surrounds you would help you to focus. And this has been a magnificent day of deliberately focusing energy. We have been so satisfied in listening to the words that you have been choosing. And what we always do, we listen with specific ear to the words that you speak in conjunction with the vibration that you're offering. And one of the things that we have found to be very exhilarating here today is so many of you speaking the vibration that you really are feeling. In other words, it is so satisfying to find you speaking what you know. And it is also satisfying to find you knowing what you know from inside the vortex. It feels to us that this gathering has reached a place of conclusion. Does it feel that way to you? From inside the vortex, life on planet Earth is at the most secure and stable state that it has ever been, and becoming more so. From inside the vortex, there is not anything on the planet that is broken that needs to be fixed. But there are endless things that could be improved, which makes it a continual, inspiring place for expansion. From inside the vortex, the well-being that is dominant is understood even on a physical level. From inside the vortex, generations that are from your physical experience yet to be lived and still to come are understood completely and known as satisfying experiences that hundreds and thousands of future generations will experience right here in this time, space, reality. From inside the vortex, the imbalance that is being experienced in regards to economics and in regards to ecology and in regards to physical physiology, from inside the vortex, the improvement and the expansion that has been asked for is substantial enough to sustain you for more time than you have yet experienced on this planet.